Yeah.
This is a successful evening. What more could a man ask for than to be with wonderful, beautiful ladies talking about love on an evening? Oh, yes, such intelligent, well-fed birthday ladies. So what is true love? What is true love? So what do you think is true love? I would like to hear from you. You must be the experts. You're all young, enthusiastic. What is true love? Please tell me, help me to understand. Anyone would like to offer a guess? Don't be shy, don't be afraid. There are no wrong answers. Or maybe there's only wrong answers.
I wish that I could think of some kind of like snappy sentence to sum it up, but I guess it's more just a whole massive combination of just like feelings, and kind of is like if you're like truly in love with someone, I feel like you just do absolutely anything for them. But like there's like a difference between love and obsession. Like you could be obsessed with somebody, you know, but you might not necessarily love them. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. I guess it's just everyone always says like, oh, you just know. But then also it's not just like romantic as well. Like I guess, you know, like I love my parents and my sister, like in a way that I would literally like do anything, like if they were in danger or something. I feel like when you like love someone, you just drop anything, you know, in your life to help them. But I guess that's not a very like good way of like a good definition.
But I think it was wonderful. So what I got from what you just said is basically if you really love someone, you'll do anything for them. So it seems to be, yeah, like selfless, yeah, almost. I also like that you said that love doesn't just have to be romantic. Of course, Valentine's Day is really themed around romance, but the idea of love, you said it seems that you can have different types of relationships where love exists. Like you said, you love your parents, you may love your friends, if you ever, if you have children, you will love your children. That's kind of a different relationship. And yeah, so there's different ways, to love. I think earlier, it's difficult, you can't see names. Who was it that was saying that they love their dad's cooking or something like that, right?
Daniela. She loves her Yorkshire puddings.
Seems like there are lots of things that can be loved. So that was good. Anyone else would like to offer an idea?
Maybe it's like, yeah, kind of like what Ellie said, so like giving rather than just taking, or maybe it's both, giving and taking.
So love is giving, or maybe taking?
Giving more.
I think sometimes they say that in relationships, it's all about learning the art of give and take. So,
yeah. Thank you.
It's about giving. Okay, nice. Anyone else? Daniela, what do you think?
I'm thinking like when you said the question, instantly I thought like being on the same wavelength as somebody, like it's just like an instantaneous sort of like rhythm that you can develop with somebody or something.
Okay, so with someone or something, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I understood you correctly, and what I got from that was it's kind of a resonation, a kind of harmonious resonation. Can you love someone that you don't kind of harmonize with, do you think?
I think it's harder to, because you haven't got that like, you haven't got like that, like I'm sort of visualizing it as like sound. So like if you've got like the same sort of sound path thing going on, then like you've got more of like, you don't necessarily have to have things in common, but you can, it's sort of like a chemistry sort of thing that I think if you sort of haven't got the same wavelength, it's harder to adapt to somebody else.
Okay, very nice. So I like that description, a sound wavelength thing. Yeah, so I got that. So it's hard to describe, but it's a kind of a thing. Okay, yeah, and the chemistry has to be the same. There has to be some chemistry there, or else it's hard to relate. Yeah, like that. And Fernanda, you've got a bouncing heart on your head. Please, you must.
That's all I could get.
Sorry?
Yeah. That's all I could get. Just the filter. I can't use the background, sadly. Yeah. I think it would be something like loving someone, or despite their flaws, you know, and still having a sentiment, despite maybe not being agreement every day or all the time, and having this feeling despite everything else, all the bad side of it, you know, you can still see the good side of the person, and still care about the person, even though we still understand that we are humans and that we're gonna make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if we're talking about not a romantic love, I had an argument with my mother recently. I still love her, you know, despite the argument, despite of us disagreeing on that topic, I still love her.
Oh,
so
that's interesting. Nice. I mean, it's not interesting that you had an argument with your mother. But it's interesting what you said, just in a sense, because it seems like with your concept or explanation that the relationship can even be non-harmonious and love can still exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So even love isn't dictated or determined by the fact that we have to always agree or always be approving of each other or something like that. It can kind of go beyond even that everything is necessarily harmonized. Okay, that's a very interesting point. Yeah.
I think,
Marcella?
yeah, I think I was going to say the same that my sister did, that you love someone and despite all of your differences, so you accept how the person is. You are different, you accept that, and even if you have arguments or discussions or anything, you still love the person and you're going to continue respecting each other, no matter what. I think that's those couples who have been married for 70 years, for example, there's got to be a secret, right? Like I've seen one that is actually sad, because it was just an example. They were married for 7 years. They were on the news. So I think those long marriages just means a lot. It means that they were there for the good and bad, and they truly love each other, because they respect each other. They probably understand each other, and they accept their differences and the way they are, which is the hardest thing, I think. At least in a relationship, but in families as well, because we don't choose our families, and so there's always going to be issues. I think it's never 100% perfect. So I think accepting differences and respecting is very important.
Okay, that's really I think it's really valuable. Yes, that's inspiring for me to hear that basically love equals respect, and it sounds like it also equals tolerance. And there's a saying that came to mind while you were speaking. I don't know if anyone has ever heard it, but something to the effect that love me, warts and all. Have you ever heard that saying? Love me, warts and all. Anyone's heard that before? No?
No.
Okay. Anyway, you know what warts are? Yeah, they're usually like if you have a wart on your nose, people might call you a witch or something. It's usually it's like not a very pretty thing, but if you love someone, you overlook those things. You don't mind the blemishes or the things that aren't so nice. You love them even with those things. In fact, those things also make you love them, kind of thing, something like that. Okay, very nice. Anyone else? Someone who hasn't shared yet that would like to? Okay, we have someone else. I can't see, so. Oh,
Hi,
Amy or Ami?
it's Ami.
Okay.
I think everyone pretty much explained the definition of love from their perspective. I also think the same way. You don't have any demands and you don't have any conditions to make. Let's say, if you do this, then I will love you. If you do that, then I will not love you. Whenever you are in love, there are no conditions, no demands. It's just the feeling, which is just increasing day by day. There is no ifs, there are no buts. There might be arguments, there might be some down days, but in low days, you are with your partner or the someone you love. So that's what I feel it is. You don't have any conditions to love anyone.
Okay, nice. So love is unconditional.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's a big ask, isn't it? Who here feels that they have unconditional love? Anyone can raise their hand? They found unconditional. Anyone can? Oh, Ami, you have unconditional love for someone, or you know someone who has unconditional love for you?
Both sides. I'm happily married.
Okay, amazing. So you're,
Thank you.
I mean, you look like you're 15 years old, so.
It happened in early stage of my life.
Okay, wow, that's interesting, yeah.
Thank you.
It's and you feel it's unconditional. There's no conditions put on the relationship.
No.
Okay, wonderful. Well, congratulations. I think we've all
Thank you.
found true love. Harimo, yay! You've become the envy of everyone here on the on the screen. Okay, well, let's see. So, yeah, how do you know when you found it? Well, Ami seems to know when she found it. So, will you know? Do you think you'll know? Will it be like, you know, butterflies in the tummy and pitter patter of the heart, you know, and the bees?
A little.
This how will happen? How will we know when we found true love?
Well, mine was little logical. The flaws that I have, these are the flaws that I have, the negative points, the weaknesses of mine are the strength of my partner. And the weaknesses he has are strength of mine. So at that moment, when I knew his strength and weakness, it was 100% complementing. And that moment I thought that, yeah, this is the one and we both can make a perfect match, pair.
Wow, so it's like putting two parts together that complement.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way you knew it was more logical. You could see that it was going to work. So how long have you been married, Ami?
It's been more than 2 years.
Amazing. You made it past most people in the Western world. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's what, 2 years, 1.5 or 2 years, the average length of a marriage in the Western world.
Really? That's so
Something-
depressing.
Yeah, it's very depressing. Yeah. Yeah, I think something like that. Most marriages end after 1.5, 2 years. The honeymoon period is about 1.5 to 2 years. That's where everything is still fresh and yeah. After that, it's like, oh God, I hate this. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. You know, you ever heard that song? So it kind of goes like that. So, okay, so anyone else, how do you know when you found it? Will it just be like a feeling, an emotion? Will it be logical? What is it? How will you know when you found true love?
I think it comes with time, to be honest. I don't know. After a few failed relationships, I think the next one I might be able to recognize faster, you know.
Okay, well, great. Maybe you can make some bets on that. And
Yeah, we need to learn something, right, in life. So.
that's sure. We should learn. Okay, so it may take time. Okay, it may take time. Let's see. I guess an important question, will we know we found it? I mean, are you actually looking for it? Is everyone here looking for love, some sort of love? I mean, we've discussed that there are different types of love. Of course, we may keep going back to the sort of romantic idea of love, but is everyone looking for it? Is there anyone who really doesn't care, actually? Whatever, what is love? Who cares what love is? I don't need love. I don't need love, and I don't need nobody. Anyone? Anyone who's like that? Everyone?
I'm a bit like that, but it's not like I don't want to meet anyone, but I'm not looking or desperate. If I feel like I don't even have time right now, but I keep giving myself that excuse for a long time. But yeah, I wasn't very lucky in the past, so I was like, I'm fine. I'm very happy on my own anyways. Some people, I know lots of people who cannot be single or alone for one day, but I'm very happy on my own. But I do care, but I'm not really looking. But if I have to be alone for the rest of my life, I'm okay with it. It's sad, but I'm okay with it.
I don't know. There are certainly, you know, in different traditions, there are people who don't, you know, they're kind of, they live a life of renunciation, and they're not with anyone for their whole life. So it's a possibility. But I guess if we look at the broader idea of love, I mean, does that mean that, I mean, do you feel like you still, even though you don't need to be with someone, do you still feel like you need love, or that whatever love may bring, affection, or whatever a loving relationship might be? It doesn't have to be the romantic type, but I mean, you and Fernanda have the same mom, right?
Yeah.
Do you appreciate the love of your mother, or do you not really care about that either? You know?
No, I do, of course. No, yeah, from the family, definitely. Yeah. I can't imagine my life without my parents, even though they're far away, but it's really hard to even think about it.
Yeah.
My parents, you know, my parent, you're my sibling.
Here's where we.
But you could have said, I could not imagine my life without my parents. And
because you live with me. They are far away.
And there's a famous saying that's that absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
It's very hard.
Love them more, but when they live with you day in and day out, it's a little different.
And you just don't care anymore.
They say familiarity breeds contempt, you know, so it means when you're
That's true.
all the time, then
Yeah.
it can be different. Yeah, so it seems that we are looking for love. Okay, let's, you know, maybe we're not necessarily looking for romance or looking for a partner or life person, and we're maybe happy being on our own, but still there seems to be some kind of a need for an experience of love that may come from other relationships. Would everyone agree with that? Yeah, in tendency. Okay, let's see who's not being active here. Ellie's dropped to the back of the group here. You're being awfully quiet, Ellie. Anything you would like to contribute?
In terms of like looking for love, I think that for every kind of human or just living beings, animals as well, we need love as part of our things to kind of live our lives. Just like we need water and food, we also need love in some form. Not necessarily every single person needs a you know, husband or wife or whatever, but in some form everyone needs love, whether it's from their friends or their family or their partner. I just feel like it's a necessary thing. I can't imagine. Also, everyone needs to give love as well. I feel like that giving and receiving really works, and it's got to be like between humans, because like you can't love things or like concepts. I feel like it's that kind of soul connection or connection from two like beings that understand each other. I just feel like everyone needs that, and I can't imagine my life without it. Just like having my family and my friends and that kind of support. I just feel like my life, what would it even be, you know? So that's my kind of take on it.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Greatly appreciate your take.
I really agree. I thought, yeah, definitely. I need my friends and my family. I think I was thinking more as a partner, like a husband
Yeah.
way. That I don't need. I'm fine. I would love to have a partner one day, but it's not like I need to get married to be happy, or that's what I need in my life to fulfill me. No, but I do need my family and my friends, my dog, the small things, you know, I need that. I totally agree with you, Ellie. Yeah.
But yeah, good for you, girl. You don't need a husband. Yes, you don't.
You see, I came to that conclusion.
Well, these are really nice points. We'll come to some of these points in a moment. When this topic of love came up, immediately I started thinking how the pop charts are filled with songs about love. Love is in the air. So then I thought, oh, well, what are the best songs with the word love in the title? Anyone would like to take a guess what number one is in the Google? I don't even know it. I've never heard it before. I saw the video. I started to play it, and then I thought, wow, this is pretty freaky. And then I decided not to watch it. What do you think? Anyone would like to give a guess?
Well, now you said that it's freaky, I'm trying to think what could be like about love, but also be really weird.
I mean, do you know who this person is? Obviously, Lady Gaga is like.
Oh no, I love Lady Gaga.
Probably a very cool person. When I started looking at the video, it immediately started their two tribes at war for many years or something like that. Started like, yeah. I was like, okay. And anyway, she kind of thinks love is stupid. It seems so stupid, love, or whatever that means. And then, of course, one that I might be a little more familiar with, famous, all you need is love. Of course, it's spelled wrong there. All you need is love, not all your need is love. And another one by the Beatles, that money can't buy you love, right? Money can't buy you love. Of course, some people try to buy love with money. Here's one. This might be a little bit past your age group. Elvis Presley. Can't help falling in love. How about Demi Lovato? Anyone knows who Demi Lovato is?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. But she loves herself. That's good. We can discuss that as well. Vanessa Carlton? No. Gosh. Foreigner?
No, this
Oh,
one.
Oh yeah. This is
come on, sing it for us, Fernanda.
never.
Never. How about Justin? Is it Bieber? Justin,
Oh gosh, yeah, that guy.
love yourself. How about Whitney? Anyone knows Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
Classic.
Sing it, Fernanda. Go ahead, sing it.
No, you know, my sister is actually part of a choir.
Oh, Marcella, sing it for us.
That's not true. Oh, no, not singing. I can only sing with other people surrounding me.
Who Maroon 5 is, but nobody's love for them. So.
That is.
And of course, the popular
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Jay-Z, where you have
They
drunk.
had to be in it, right?
Walking love.
I don't know what they did, but they were drunk when they did it. So that's.
They were in the kitchen, I guess.
I'm not going to get too much into it, really. But yeah, so these are the top 10 songs with love in the title. Often love, mostly it's about people falling out of love or losing love or missing love or hating love, these kind of things. I was reminded of one that's called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. Have you ever heard that song? I think it's a country song. It came up when I Googled it. And it goes, I was looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of. Hoping to find a friend and a lover, I'll bless the day I discover another heart looking for love. But seems like a lot of people are often looking for love in the wrong places. Anyone has that experience?
Yeah.
But there's some song, oh, another one came up. I was going to put it on there, but I can't remember. Yeah, anyway, many songs talk about love. So it's a very popular topic, but are we looking in the right places? And then when I read these lyrics, I was reminded of this story of the musk deer. Anyone remembers the story of the musk deer? Yeah, what was the story of the musk deer? What happened to the musky deer?
Was he looking for the scent of
Yeah.
something?
Looking for the scent of something, yeah.
And it was actually him.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
himself, right?
Say it again.
Yeah, it was what Rishi was talking about. They were looking, trying to find this nice scent,
Mm-hmm.
and it was themselves, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
so the story of the musk deer is that basically the aroma of musk, it originates from this deer. That's where it comes from. That's why the deer is called a musk deer. So and the actual genuine fragrance of musk, to get it is extremely expensive. Of course, now you can buy it buy a kind of fake aroma of musk in any shop for a cheap price, but the actual musk scent comes from the deer. But the musk deer, when it's in season, it emanates this aroma of musk. And actually the deer becomes mad, like literally mad, and goes wild. It really wants to find the source of that smell, and it runs all around the forest as if it's lost its mind, kind of like people who seem to fall in love, right? Running around, you know, everything really excited, and the deer is looking and looking and looking everywhere, almost going insane trying to find this aroma. Where is it coming from? But eventually the deer realizes that the aroma is coming from itself. So actually within the navel of the deer is a gland called the musk gland, and that gland emanates this musk aroma, and it's very enticing and very attracting, which is why obviously it became a perfume and people wear it. And why do people wear perfume? Hopefully not just to cover up their bad bodily odors, but to try to attract, you know, someone else to come near to them. So the same thing is that generally we can be looking for something so much that we become overwhelmed by looking for it, but really love probably has to start with ourselves. We have to first love ourselves. If we can't love ourselves, or find love within ourselves, then it's going to be hard to love someone else. And there's lots of things where people basically try to find other people. I think Ami said, you know, find someone who complements you, and your shortcomings are their strengths, and their strengths and your shortcomings balance each other. But if we haven't found within ourselves some idea of an ability to love ourselves, then we may be looking often for someone to solve our problems or give us happiness from outside, which we haven't found inside. And as we know, when we were discussing this search for happiness, that there isn't anything outside that can actually give us happiness. Happiness has to come from within. So we have to find that happiness within. So like the mustir. And then similar to what Ellie was saying, in life, most people, they love things and they use people, but actually we should be loving people and using things. So especially in modern society, people are very much on the, people like things, you know, lots of things. I like to have things around me, this thing, that thing. I like nice cars, nice clothes, nice whatever. I like things, phones, gadgets, but people are less important than things. So this is also something. And then also, Ellie was very eloquently putting that the basic human need is to love and to be loved. Really, we all want it, if we're honest. We want someone to care about us, especially when you're sick. You want someone there to say, how are you? Are you okay? Or like earlier, Daniela said, immediately came on and said, happy birthday. And, you know, and Ellie was like, oh God, that's so great. Thank you for remembering. And, you know, and you feel the love, don't you? You feel like somebody cares about me. Someone remembered it was my birthday. And that makes me really happy. And so we all like that. And then we also want to give that. There you go, right there. So we all want that. Marcella, you wanted to add or subtract or chastise me in some way?
No, I just want to make a comment that when you're talking about loving things and people, that it might not have much to do with it. It does, I guess. So it's just something interesting that I remember that I learned that in Portuguese, the Portuguese language in Portugal, not in Brazil, that's different. They do not use the word love for things. So in Brazil, I say I love chocolate, but in Portugal, they don't do that. For them, it's really weird because they say you cannot love things. Yeah. Love is for people. So we don't use the word love. They don't use it to refer to things or to things that you like. You cannot. So when I met a Portuguese girl and I said, oh, I love going to the movies, or I love this and that, she's like, you don't love things, that's weird. She was kind of shocked, but because in Brazil, it's part of our, it's normal. So yeah, I thought it was interesting because I never thought about it that way. But yeah, they don't love things. You're not supposed to love things. I like to love things. I don't know if it's bad, but I love
What did you say?
I do love lots of things. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but
well, I guess the question is, you know, is it really love, or is it just that you really like something?
Oh.
Because love, from all that I've heard so far from all of you who are teaching me so much about love, is that it seems that love has to be some sort of a relationship. And of course, we do have some relatedness with things, but I mean, I may love my phone, but you know, I'm not really sure how much my phone loves me.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm feeling the love right now from my phone, you know. So I guess, you know, the question is, do we just use that as a term and language which expresses some kind of affection? But like you said, in Portuguese and the oldest cultures, they would never use the term love to focus it on a thing, because it's not possible to love a thing. Even I think someone earlier said, you know, love, in one sense, our love reciprocation, really it usually needs to be between humans. I mean, animals can love each other. They're also looking for love. And we can try to reciprocate love with our dog, someone said. But I just wonder how much the dog loves you, and maybe how much the dog loves that you feed it, you know, and you look after it, you know. Is it really a deep reciprocal relationship, you know? So, but anyway, that's a really important or valid point, and I appreciate that in Portuguese, the word for love isn't used to describe things. That's really good. Yeah. But anyway, it's described that this propensity or this basic need to love is actually, it's very natural to the soul. So actually on the spiritual level, the nature of the soul, we've said before, is ananda mayobhyasat, which means that the nature of the soul is that it's pleasure seeking, but the pleasure that the soul is seeking is not kind of a temporary pleasure. It's searching for ananda, which is actually bliss. And it means that it's also searching for that. The principle of yoga is union or divine connection. So we're often looking for a connection. We're looking for something that makes us feel whole again. Like Ami said, you feel like you're missing something, so you find someone who can complement or complete you. Isn't that from a famous movie, right? You complete me, or something like that. What was that movie? I saw it years ago. Jerry Maguire or something like that. You complete me, or something, I think. Anyway, so it's like that, we're looking to become complete. Or Marcella, you said, you don't really feel that incompleteness. But at the same time, when you're not with your family, or not your family, of course, your sister is always there giving you, showering you with immense love and affection, but especially your mom and dad, your parents, then you miss that, you long for it, and there's an emptiness that's wanting something. So, but we have to remember that no one really wants to just be loved simply also for the externals, right? Do we just want someone to love us for our looks, or for our intelligence, or for our name, or for our money? I mean, this is, so you might be, let's say if you're, I don't know, your last name is Getty or Rockefeller, or something like that, some name that's like associated with lots of, if your last name is Gates, Bill Gates's daughter, or some famous person. So, do you just want someone to love you because of your fame or your fortune? It's a question. What do you think? Are you happy with that? Some people might say yes. No? Because what happens to those things? What happens to fame? What happens to beauty? What happens to wealth? What happens to these things?
Right.
Go poof.
And
They go poof.
They go poof, yeah. Right. They definitely go poof. I never heard it explained quite like that, but I will get it now that I've heard it. Yeah, they definitely go poof. They don't necessarily stick around for a long time, and that's also why, you mentioned this couple that were married for 70 years. Whew, that's like amazing. But a lot of times, there's a whole statement, you trade them in for a younger model, it's like we live in a society now where it's like when your phone gets old, you get a new one. You don't stick it out with the phone. You don't stick it out with the car. You don't stick it out with the job. You don't follow through with the relationship. So if it gets old, then you want new. And that's kind of a disease of the Western culture. So because all these things are temporary, then if we enter into a loving relationship, then there's fear that if we lose these attributes, then we'll also lose love. Yeah, anyone experiences that or feels that? That's probably why with our parents, the loving relationship is a bit different, right? We probably feel like no matter what I do, my parents will love me, more or less. Anyone kind of feels like that? Almost. Vrishni's kind of raising her hand like, yeah, I mean, there are a few things I better not tell. But yeah, I mean, but more or less we know that they're going to love us. And that's why actually it's described that a mother's love is the closest thing that we can experience in this material world, the closest thing to unconditional love. Because a mother, of which all of you obviously have the potential to be, or maybe you already are, I don't know, I don't need to get into it too much, but at least that loving relationship of a mother it's really generally it's considered quite selfless. that a mother will just do whatever she needs to for the child and to look after her child in whatever way. So this is really selfless, regardless of whether the child treats them with respect or not, or does what they want them to do. So there's still a love there. So there's this idea of love is something that's quite deep. Here's another quote. The basic principle of the living condition is that we have a general propensity to love someone. No one can live without loving someone else. This propensity is present in every living being, even in the animals. So everyone is really looking for love. But we want connections that are based more on something deeper. Like, right? Don't we often say, no, I want our relationship to be deep. Anyone's ever thought like that or said, you know, isn't it? And let's be honest, you know, like relationships. Marcella, your hand is still raised. Did you want to say something? I just noticed.
No, sorry, it's legacy hand.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Legacy.
I'm learning so much tonight. That's great. Legacy hand goes. Yeah, I've got it. Okay. So isn't it? Who here wants I mean, of course, people do like shallow relationships. They're, you know, they go out to a club or a pub or a nightclub, and it's like, I'm not looking for anything deep. I'm just looking for a, you know, a little bit of fun. So, okay, but if we really want a deep relationship, what does that mean? What does it mean if I'm looking for a deeper relationship?
Maybe a commitment, like a long-term commitment. Yeah.
God, that's a big ask from men these days, isn't it? Commitment. Whew, Lord. What man wants to make a commitment, right?
Yeah.
Hard thing. But yeah, that's what you would expect from a deeper relationship, a commitment. How long of a commitment? Don't lead with 70 years. That's going to make it really, really hard. But yeah.
I don't know, a long-term relationship, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So that's
what I would expect.
Okay, that's what we would mean by deeper. Okay. Anything else? Any other thoughts? What would it mean to have a deeper relationship, to go deep in a relationship?
I guess it's where you actually want to understand each other more, and you actually have, you know, someone's like best interests at heart all the time, rather than kind of seeing what you can get from them. You're thinking more about what you can give to them. So it's less kind of thinking this is temporary and more just thinking, you know, wanting to know more about someone and their life and how they think and kind of all these little things that make them who they are.
Nice. Very nice. Yes. So yeah, a deeper appreciation of who they are, not just the superficials or the externals. Yeah. Getting to know them more. Yeah. So we go deeper. Yeah. It's not just based on the physical. Often, you know, relationships can very often be just based on the physical. So we want to go deeper. Okay. Very nice. Anyone else would like to offer an idea? I guess the question is, what's deeper? If you go deeper and it's not just the externals, then what's below the surface? What more is there?
I guess maybe if it's like from like a philosophical perspective, knowing more how they like their philosophies and how they see the world and what matters to them, and you know, just like they're not just like surface things like their favorite food or something, like their points of view. I mean, like what is actually inside them, making them who they are, and the things that you know are more. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Things that aren't innate to them, but they've kind of just come to believe through their experience in life.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
What is deeper inside of someone that makes them who they are?
I guess they're kind of their soul, really, isn't it?
Okay.
They're like oh, I guess that's just the word that I would use, but it's just, yeah, all it's like the little things of the way that they think and their like ethics, their philosophies.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if that's kind of the mind or the soul or kind of come somewhere in between. But yeah, so I'm totally rambling now.
Ramblings are like, you know, should be written down and put in books for the ages to read and discover. You're like, what is it? You what is it? What's that saying? Anyway, you speak philosophy. Every word is like deep philosophical thought. Yeah, people sometimes say they're looking for their soulmate. Yeah, anyone's ever said that? Who here would like to find their soulmate? Who believes that there's the idea of soulmates? We're all hoping against hope, aren't we? Yes. So basically the idea is that, yeah, we're looking for someone who's a soulmate. So that means the connection has to be deeper than just even the mind, deeper than the intelligence or intellect. It's not just a logical thing, but it's actually a connection that's on the level or on the platform of the soul. And it's also on a spiritual level. Because who is the real person? The real person isn't just the externals, because if something changes about my externals, am I still the same? You know, am I the same person? In one sense, yes, because the soul is that eternal spark that doesn't change in one sense. But the externals can change. As Daniela said, the externals go poof. So like that. So here's a statement from the Bhagavad Gita, which is quite a deep concept. I'm not sure if you're all going to go with me on this, or if some people are going to fall off the wagon. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, when a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna, or God, is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. Or in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. So it's an interesting concept that in the Bhagavad Gita, it explains that actually we all have an innate original love for the Supreme, for the Divine, for Krishna, for God. And that loving propensity is really what we're all looking for here to be filled. But like that song earlier, looking for love in all the wrong places. George Harrison also says in the beginning of one of the Krishna book, that people in this world are all looking for love. Everyone wants love, but they don't really know where to find it. So we're all looking for that satisfaction, for that completeness. And the challenge is that when we try to look for it here, we look in all the wrong places, and then it transforms into lust. So, and I guess someone earlier said something, they used a word that, okay, maybe it's not love, maybe it's, I forget, there was a term that was used earlier. But yeah, I mean, we've probably all experienced that idea that we're not really in love with someone, let's say on the romantic platform, but we're actually more kind of, if it's based on the temporary externals, then it's probably not really deep. So love is something that's deep because it comes from the soul. It's natural to the soul. But if I'm just absorbed in the exploitation or the enjoying of the externals of someone, then that's probably not love. That's actually lust. Well, here's a definition. A desire to gratify the senses or a bodily appetite, of course, sexual desire, overmastering desire, lust for power, intense enthusiasm, pleasure inclination. Another definition is a strong desire to enjoy or exploit someone or something for one's own pleasure. So it's not really about so much the other person, but it's more about what I'm going to get out of this. That's lust. It's kind of more of an exploitation. And lusting relationships and lust are often compared to this. Anyone has ever heard of the monkey trap? No? Really? Krishna, have you ever heard of the monkey trap? No?
No, I don't think so.
No. No one's ever been hunting monkeys? So, although monkeys are considered pretty intelligent creatures in general, but when people go out and if they want to capture a monkey, there are different ways to do it. But generally what they do is they put a banana, so you can see this kind of thing here. So they have this thing, it's tied to the tree there. Inside of there, they put a banana, quite a large banana, because everybody knows monkeys like bananas, right? So the monkey sees, inside of this little hole, there's a big banana. So the monkey sticks his hand in the hole, and he grabs the banana, and he tries to pull his hand out of the hole, but the hole is big enough for him to put his hand in like that, but it's too small for him to pull his hand out like this. And he's holding on to that banana. And as long as he holds on to the banana, he's trapped. But if he lets go of the banana, then he can be free. But because he so much wants the banana, that the desire for the banana overrides his freedom, and then he becomes trapped. So it's like that. Sometimes we can become so attached to the externals that it traps us in a relationship, or traps us in a desire to find a relationship, or traps us in some way because we're looking for something that in one sense isn't really the ultimate goal. You know, the ultimate goal may be to eat a banana, but you know, bananas can you eat anyway? I mean, so, you know, this is kind of the monkey trap. So it's like this sometimes in material life. So the Bhagavad Gita continues to explain that, there it goes, that if we learn to love Krishna, then it's very easy to immediately and simultaneously love every living being. It is like pouring water on the root of a tree, or supplying food to one's stomach. So just like if you water the root of a tree, then the whole tree is nurtured and taken care of, it's nourished. You don't have to water each branch, you know. You don't go to the tree and say, oh, this branch has an apple on it, let me water that appling branch, you know. We just go to the root, and by watering the root, the entire tree is nourished and taken care of. And the same way, if you supply food to the stomach, then the whole body is nourished. Not just if your hand decides, no, I'm not going to give, you know, food to the belly anymore. I'm tired of working for the tummy. I'm going to eat myself. And then the hand tries to eat all on its own. And the stomach's like, hey, you moron, you have to put it in here. It's like, no, I want the food for me. And it just starts. So then eventually what happens to the hand? You know, the hand dies because the hand can't actually absorb the food. So it's kind of a selfless process that we just have to understand what is the root, or what is the source, where is it coming from? And so this idea of kind of loving oneself means that first we have to understand what is our original, where is the original source of love? Where is this love coming from? We talk about it a lot. It permeates our culture and our lives really completely. But what is the original source of this love? Where has this love come from? Why do I even experience? Why do I even know what it is? How do I know what it is? Is it really something that someone has taught you, or is it something that you know, you feel it, you sense it, you naturally search for it, or you want it? You know, so where does this original thing come from? And the Bhagavad Gita explains quite clearly, and the ancient texts of India give us clear indication of where this original pure form of love has come from. So really that happiness that we desire, that commonality, that union, that connectedness, that fulfillment and completion of ourselves in connection with someone else, it really is best founded probably on the soul platform, on the spiritual platform. Otherwise, we will keep running the risk of looking for love in all the wrong places, and we could spend the next 10 or 15 years just trying things out, you know? Well, that one didn't work either. Okay, and maybe that's cool if that's what you want to do, no problem. But if we want to go deep, then we need to get deep. We need to become deep ourselves. We need to understand what it means to be deep, and to try to find someone that can go deep with us. And because if it's based on the spiritual platform, that you can't get much deeper than that, because the soul is eternal, and the relationship with the divine, with the supreme, with Krishna, that's also eternal. So these things are as deep as it can get. But oftentimes people are afraid to get deep. So then we have to see, do we want to just swim on the surface, or do we want to dive deep? So and real love is also about service. Like we said about the mother is willing to give, and all of you were saying earlier, you know, it's about giving, it's about looking after someone, caring, you know, caring for them, regardless of whether they treat us properly or not, you know. So if a mother claims to love her son or her daughter, but doesn't do anything to take care of her, then that's really impractical. And so we also have to express our love. So this process of bhakti yoga is the yoga of love. Bhakti yoga is the yoga of love, but it's real love, and that real love means service. So it means being devoted to someone and serving them, and understanding where that propensity, that loving propensity comes from, and how it expands, so that we can really learn to love everyone, because we understand our ultimate connectedness with everyone on the spiritual platform, not our distinction and separation based on bodily designation, but actually how we are ultimately all connected as living entities who are part and parcel of kind of the supreme, or the divine, or Krishna, like that. So I ask you, what is true love? Sorry. Everyone went, oh God. Can we go back to the song one, please? That was the best one. I want to see the Lady Gaga video. Anyway, so that's my presentation on what is true love. So anyone has any questions, comments, reflections, chastisements, arguments? Everyone looks bewildered.
No, thank you. I absolutely love that. I really liked that.
You really love it, Elliot. You really love it.
But yeah, I think what you said at the end is really interesting, in that we can love all people and all beings when we kind of take on that idea of service. And I think that's really important. I've never thought about that, like that if we love somebody, we might think and always feel like I love this person, but if we don't show them, then they're never going to know. So yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting point about like a mum who claims to love her children but maybe like neglects them. Like, how is that love? So the idea that love also comes with an act of love, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Something I've never really thought about. I guess I've always just considered that to be like a natural thing that you do anyway. In like loving everybody, you have to show that. But yeah, I just thought that was a really good way of putting that.
Yeah,
It really resonated with me. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to put your money where your mouth is. You can't just tell me you love me. You have to show me, you know. It's Valentine's Day. Don't just tell me you love me. Where's the flowers? Where's the chocolates? Where's the ring? You know, what's going on here? Yeah, service is a real symptom of love, a deep symptom of love. Very nice. Thank you, Ellie. Oh, that's it. I just remember what I was trying to think of earlier. Everything you say, you wax poetically. That's it. Waxing philosophically, waxing poetic. Anyone else? Any other thoughts?
I was just a bit surprised with on the top 10 songs how Frank Sinatra wasn't on there.
What's his song with the name Love?
What was it? I Love You, Baby?
Oh, there you go. Can you sing it for us?
Oh, I'm not. No, I mean I haven't rehearsed, but
Next time we'll give you a couple.
Next time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whose top 10 it was. Of course, the top 10 is different for everybody, but somehow when I just said, oh, what are the top songs with love in it? Those were the 10 that came up first in Google. So that's what Google thinks anyway. That's Google. But you know, I love you, baby.
There we go.
Yeah, good one. Yeah. Oh, Frankie. Oh, what's his name? Oh, Blue Eyes. That's it. Sinatra. Yeah. I wonder who he loved. I think he had like 7 wives, didn't he, or something like that? Tell us about love, Frank. We want some lessons from you, man.
And I'm really surprised how Lady Gaga was #1, and I don't even know that song. And I quite like Lady Gaga. I don't even know Stupid Love.
I don't know if I ever want to know it, but there you go. Yeah. Anyone else? Thank you for those reflections, Danielle. I'll work on the list for the next presentation. I'll try to get some much better. I'll create my own top 10 list. Anyone else?
Better than Google.
Anyone else? Fernanda, you were about to say something, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that I 100% agree with Ellie, what Ellie said. And one point that you mentioned about going deep, it's that we need to do it ourselves first. And I think before asking someone else, right? Yeah, we need to have a deep relationship, but how deep am I? Oh, I just got a song like "How Deep Is Your Love?" So
a song. Oh, how
I sing too. Anyways, but yeah, it's a very valid and strong point, because it's so easy for us to ask people to be something, to do something that we don't do ourselves, you know. But
no, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah, if we don't connect ourselves with the source of love and find love within ourselves, we're basically going to spend our lives trying to be validated by others.
Exactly. Yeah.
We first have to be validated ourselves, and that completeness and that validation can only come from within, and really it can only come from the development of a deep relationship with the source of all love, because ultimately everything is love. Ultimately everything is love. And ultimately, but what is that love? That's where we're confused. All of us, we're confused about it. And that's why lust comes into the picture, because we think that love means some fulfillment for me from someone else. Someone else makes me happy, or somehow they validate me, then I love them, you know. But actually real love is something very different. And it's driven by this principle of service, the principle of giving. In fact, what's her name? Oh, Jahnavi just did an album with her. What's that girl's name? Will Smith's daughter.
Willow.
Will
Yeah, how did I not know that? Yeah, so so they did a song, and the song is called "Born to Give," and it's really nice. It's kind of a very nice principle that we're born to give. We're born to give love. We also naturally receive it, but when we give it, what is that saying? It's greater to give than to receive. That should be our mood. But of course, if you're giving, somebody's got to be receiving, right? so sometime we're going to be on the receiving end, but like that. So yeah, everything is coming from love ultimately. If we connect with Krishna, if we water the root of the tree, then naturally we can become satiated within ourselves, and we don't need to look for something false to try to make us happy. We're already happy within, so then the relationship can be based on a mutual exchange of love, of real love, not a mutual exchange of bodily fluids, to try to make ourselves be happy. I'm already happy. I don't need your bodily fluid to make me happy. Sorry, don't want to get too gross or anything, but that's kind of what it boils down to a lot of times. And of course it feels really nice, but ultimately that does wear off after some time, even though when I was looking around, you see all these people, they talk about how to make love last, how to make it last for so many years. And oftentimes it's connected, you have to keep the flame alive, and sex life has to keep the drive. But is it really? I mean, it's interesting because actually from Eastern culture, I mean, in the West, it's almost abominable to think like this, but in Eastern culture, there's, even arranged marriages, which it sounds horrific, and I don't want to scare anyone. I'm not necessarily promoting it, but even my wife, she's from Indian background, and her parents, they met for the second time they met was at their wedding. The second time they met was at their wedding. And I think this year they will have been married for something like maybe 56 or 57 years. So it's not about a physical attraction. It's not about whether I think you're right for me or you're right. And, we lived together for 10 years and then we decide, yeah, it doesn't work. It's about a decision that let's say, like with that type of love, anyway, the romantic sense, is that it's about a commitment that we're going to assist and serve one another under the institution of marriage, and that's going to go on, and whatever happens, we're going to work it out. That's why the Western marriage vows are kind of like, until death us do part, in sickness, and in health, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, whatever, until death us do part. So that means it's a commitment, but usually it's like, okay, now you've upset me. You didn't make what I wanted for dinner. I want a divorce. So it's like, but how can that be? If that's what love is that real love? No, real love is much deeper than just some idea that when I see you, my heart goes pitter patter. That's nice and that's good if it's there, but it's really about a dedication to serving someone and working with them through the ups, through the downs, for a whole life, being a partner. We're together through thick and thin. That's it. And we won't always agree, that's for sure. But sometimes we do. And if we don't, then okay, let's figure it out. So it's a partnership. And when we learn how to work and cooperate in that mood and that spirit with a life partner, then we can also do that with so many other people in so many different ways. So like that. Anyway, I could go on for hours about this topic, but I just realized it's very late. And
I have a question. I have a question.
Okay.
So yeah, I really liked the analogy with the watering the roots, the root of and the source of love. So how what are sort of like ways that we can do that?
Nice question. Yeah. So I guess from the spiritual perspective, the real watering of the root is the cultivation of knowledge about what is the root. That's watering the root, helping us like developing consciousness and understanding. Chanting also, is meditation, kind of cultivation of our spiritual side, really connecting with our spiritual side and watering the root, hearing from Bhagavad Gita, associating with other people who have some understanding of the root that waters our own root, reconnecting in that way. But in this age that we live in this world of quarrel and confusion and hypocrisy, then it's described that the best process for watering the root is chanting. This chanting, especially of the Maha Mantra, and singing, it really helps us to connect on a deeper level, and moves us to resonate. Someone was mentioning earlier, like resonating, with the person. There has to be that resonation, that harmonizing, so we can really harmonize in that way on the spiritual platform, because it's spiritual sound vibration. Something like that. Anyway, those are some ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Anyone has any other reflections or questions or comments?